Chapter 133. The Drought Demon's Poison. Continue. The combination formed by the Great Formation and the black hole was invincible, but it was uncertain how long it could last. After all, although there were many spirit stones, they were limited. The rolling gale blew, and in the blink of an eye, 2/3 of the locusts were all devoured. This time, even the skin and flesh, not a single bit was left. The remaining locusts, too, could not escape. "Gu Hai, bastard, let me out!" The fire locust god glared and roared. Gu Hai, however, didn't pay any attention at all, focusing on swallowing the other locusts. As the fire locust god rushed again and again, Gu Hai purposely used the Great Formation to make it lose its way, flying far away in the twinkling of an eye, so that it couldn't escape, and couldn't make a move either. At the 9th level of the Jindan realm, there was still a tremendous amount of power surging into his body. Gu Hai gritted his teeth and suppressed this manic power. The locust demons began to fear, began to beg for mercy, but Gu Hai would not listen to them. Earlier, when they wanted to eat the whole city, gave the people a chance to beg for mercy. Swallow, swallow, swallow. After a day and a night, finally, all the locusts were swallowed, leaving only a fire locust god who was about to collapse. "No, no, my fire locust clan!" The fire locust god screamed in despair. In just one day and one night, except for himself, his clan was completely annihilated. Total annihilation. Boom. The black aura around Gu Hai's body suddenly converged, and the bone spikes all returned to his body, and Gu Hai's clothes around his body were riddled with holes. However, at this moment, no one made fun of the people within the foothill god city. Instead, they were infinitely reverent. "Many thanks, Mr. Gu." "All destroyed, all destroyed." "Long live Mr. Gu. Long live the Great Han Dynasty." The people of a city basically recognized Gu Hai at this moment. The stigma that the people had in their hearts in the past towards trusting the country to Gu Hai was all gone, and everyone's hearts were filled with hope at this moment. Perhaps by joining the Great Han Dynasty, our lives will be more stable and happier, because we will have a strong emperor. Pfft. Gu Hai's face flushed and a mouthful of blood spurted out. There was too much power gathered in his body, and he almost couldn't take it anymore. "Hey, you're injured." The fire locust god steeply revealed a scowl. The spirit stones of the Grand Formation are going to run out, so let's give you the last blow." Gu Hai laughed coldly. Probing his hand, he waved it. Buzz. The clouds in the void steeply coalesced for a while. A new cloud beast was about to be born. Before the cloud beast came out, a terrifying storm of sword chi surrounded it. A sword intent came out of nowhere. For a moment, within the Foal God City, all the people who were grasping their long swords, steeply their respective long swords burst into a light tremor. Buzz, buzz, buzz. All the swords roared in unison, responding to the cloud beast that was about to be born in general. What a strong sword intent. My sword is out of control. What is that sword intent? What did Mr. Gu summon out? Countless people revealed looks of horror. The generals who had experienced the Jengjin sect's great battle in the past had their eyes light up. "Sword demon, Dokoroku," someone shouted in ecstasy. Powerful sword intent brewed out. It charged straight at the fire locust god. The fire locust god was only at the peak of the Yuanying realm, and in the past, when the saber-toothed tiger mobilized the power of a clan of people from all over the world to reach the strength of the heaven opening palace, it was not even a match for the Dokoroku Shugru, let alone the fire locust god. Dokoroku-san, the fire locust god's face changed. After all, in the past, the battle of the Jengjin sect, there was still news that had traveled out. Boom, Ko. The four directions cloud mist formation crumbled for a while, and it was clear that the spirit stones had reached their limit and were about to run out cleanly. The fire locust god turned his head and was about to flee into the distance. Buzz! Gu Hai stepped on the cloud beast and appeared in front of the fire locust god in a near instant, a great sword intent rushing straight ahead. Seeing that he couldn't escape, the fire locust god was instantly enraged. His body shifted violently, transforming into a giant locust 10 feet in size. Divine power surged out from his brow, instantly forming a red flame in general. Raw, unlimited divine power, fire cloud divine palm, the fire locust god bellowed. Steeply, countless divine energy condensed into flame like giant palms that pressed towards the sky where Gu Hai was. In an instant, it seemed like the sky was full of palm shadows, as if there were 10,000 palms pressing in, as if they wanted to destroy Gu Hai and Doka-oku. Doka-oku 9 swords, breaking palm style. Boom! Thousands of golden sword chi emerged from Doka-oku-nai's body, inserting into the center of the 10,000 palm diameters in an instant. Boom, 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 boom. Nearly an instant later, the 10,000 palm dangles burst into pieces, and more sword chi headed towards the fire locust god. Roar! The fire locust god roared as red flames enveloped his body, forming a shield of divine power. It struggled to block the incoming sword chi, and as the spirit stones were consumed, the 29 heaven and earth vertical and horizontal array was crumbling more and more. It was about to shatter. Doka-oku's figure was also blurred, seemingly about to fall apart. Gu Hai, your grand formation isn't working. The fire locust god was horrified with a surge of excitement. Heavy swords have no edges, and great coincidences don't work. Doka-oku let out a cold snort. Buzz! The sky full of sword chi steeply condensed, transforming into a voluminous Zhuan iron heavy sword, heading towards the fire locust god. Roar! The fire locust god roared, his divine power surging out crazily as the divine flames around his body skyrocketed tenfold. The fire locust god understood that as long as he blocked this wave, he would be saved, because Ancient Sea's grand formation was about to collapse. The Zhuan iron heavy sword collided with the divine power flame shield with a loud bang. Boom! The 29 heaven and earth vertical grand formation up the last of its spirit stones, and burst apart with a loud bang, and along with the doctor, it also suddenly disappeared. However, the last strike of the Zhuan iron heavy sword was too powerful. It chopped down with a roar, instantly piercing through the divine flames, and all of a sudden, it struck the fire locust god's body through and through, instantly nailing it into the earth below. Boom! The fire locust god's entire divine power suddenly collapsed. The great formation dissipated, and the Zhuan iron heavy sword also dissipated. However, the fire locust god had no strength left, and with a super large hole in his stomach, he collapsed in a pool of blood. The fire locust god looked towards Gu Hai with a wave of despair, just a little bit closer to escaping himself. The fire locust god's figure still seemed to be holding on strongly to escape. However, while Gu Hai had lost the great formation, he had the blood blade to increase his power. Ancient Sea grabbed the blood blade and the bone blade and landed on the fire locust god's body. With a loud stomp, the fire locust god was instantly unable to move. No, it shouldn't be like this. No, the Emperor won't let you go. The fire locust god despaired. Gu Hai revealed a cold smile. The fire locust clan was completely annihilated, and the fire locust god was even heavily suppressed by Gu Hai. The people of the entire city watched this scene in shock. Previously, everyone was about to despair. The fire locust clan ate everything, they couldn't get out at all, and the reinforcements outside were also eaten. The defending formation was also pretty much eaten, and it looked like everyone was going to be buried in the belly of the locusts. But this desperate scene of over 100 million people was solved by Gu Hai alone. Saved. Countless people were even more joyful. The fire locust god had his body pierced with chains by a large number of strong men, suppressing his cultivation and escorting him into the city. Gu Hai was the hero who saved the entire city. Many thanks, Mr. Gu. Many thanks, Mr. Gu. Many thanks. The people of the whole city didn't say that they were welcoming. At least every one of them revealed a look of gratitude. It was sincere gratitude. It was recognition of Gu Hai. At this moment, the people of the whole city, no one rejected the great Han dynasty anymore. No one rejected Gu Hai anymore. When Gu Hai entered the city, he was greeted by the gratitude of the entire city, but he shook his head and said, "Everyone." The grateful people around were quiet, but they looked at Gu Hai together. To defeat the fire locust god this time. It's not me, Gu Hai, alone. Without your generous spirit stones to give me formations, I wouldn't have been able to win such a great victory. So the one who defeated the fire locust god and exterminated the fire locust clan today is not me, Gu Hai, but all of the people in the whole city here. It's all of you who came along with me and defeated the fire locust clan. The ones who should be thanked are still yourselves. Gu Hai laughed aloud. As soon as Gu Hai opened his mouth, the countless people suddenly felt a sense of relief in their hearts and looked at Gu Hai with more and more fervor. Gu is so modest. Mr. Gu is positively amiable. Mr. Gu doesn't take credit at all. His character is really good. Amidst the countless praises from the people, Gu Hai brought the fire locust god to the grand hall where Huang Fu Chaoj was. Still sitting in the ice water, Huang Fu Chaoj looked at Gu Hai and smiled kindly. "Mr. Gu, just one day and one night. Yet you've already collected the hearts of the people of a city. It seems that I can finally rest assured." Gu Hai, however, had a solemn look on his face and said, "I've captured the fire locust god. You've been poisoned by fire. How do you want to solve it?" Huang Fu Chaoj faintly burst into a bitter smile. Outside, a group of generals from the Divine Foothills, Imperial Dynasty, were constantly beating up the trapped fire locust god. "Say, the fire poison on the Emperor's body. How do I undo it? If you don't say it again, I'll beat you to death. Beat me. Beat him until he says for it." The crowd of Divine Foothills, Imperial Dynasty generals continuously tortured the fire locust god. Cluck 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 cluck. Huang Fu Chaoj. "No one can save him. I can't save him either. The fire poison was given by me, but the fire poison isn't mine. I'm going to die. And I want Huang Fu Chaoj to be buried with me as well. Ha ha ha." The fire locust god laughed hideously. Inside the great hall, Gu Hai's face sank. He was about to turn his head and go out to cure the fire locust god. But Huang Fu Chaoj smiled slightly bitterly and said, "There's no need to go, Gu. It's right. This fire poison of mine. It's not an ordinary fire poison." "Oh." Gu Hai looked at Huang Fu Chaoj in doubt. "Fire locust god's fire poison. Even if it's strong, I can still break free from it. In the past, even if I didn't have the ability, I still had a dynasty's chi. I could mobilize a dynasty's national power to force the poison. But it couldn't be forced. I could only use this method to slow down the spread of the fire poison only. This fire poison can't kill her," Huang Fu Chaoj said bitterly. "What kind of fire poison is this?" Gu Hai said doubtfully. "The Drought demon's poison," Huang Fu Chaoj said bitterly. "Drought demon," Gu Hai frowned. "Drought demon, the king of the zombies. When the Drought demon comes out, the red earth is 1,000 miles away. Huh, zombie king. Drought demon's poison sure is overbearing," Huang Fu Chaoj said bitterly. "Then there's no way to undo it," Gu Hai worried. Huang Fu Chaoj shook his head. "Gu, the fire locust god possesses the god of fire. You'd better think about how to subdue it, god of fire."